Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And here it is, a Tuesday at the Star in Frisco inside the SWBC podcast studio. And this is Mick Shots, brought to you by Miller Lite. And I was able to listen to the show as I was driving to Ennis, Texas yesterday. And Ennis, Texas, interviewing the great Sam Harrell, who is retiring as a legendary high school football coach who's battling MS. And he had
I saw that.
Yeah. And so sat down with him yesterday. And on the way, there's a long drive to Ennis. Listened to the show, and you handled it nicely. I'm happy I didn't have to be here for the day after postmortem.
But you're here 2 days after.
Anytime you have Nate
Newton,
Nate from Frisco, anytime you have him having to take over the show and really explain to us what the heck is going on, that's when you know we're in bad shape.
in his eyes.
Yeah.
And so
he was very optimistic, though. He was more optimistic than we were. You know, he sees a light at the end of the tunnel with the young offensive lineman. And
they were awesome on.
Awesome. There you go.
One spot was awesome.
You know, that's the thing. It's kind of like with officials. If you don't talk about them, they must have done a good job. And if outside of, I was watching the CBS broadcast, and Nance and Romo mentioned him at the beginning of the game. And it was Romo and not Nance this time that just did what I did and said something about awesome and, did the pun. But I don't think his name was called the rest of the day. And that's a good thing when you're playing left tackle.
Yeah.
And you're starting your first game in the NFL.
Yep. So there you go.
We should at least give you the opportunity to give us your take.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm fine. I'm moving on. Way
to have our backs, Bill. Yeah.
That's a distant past. 24-hour rule is passed. It was not pretty.
Have you watched TV or
I was on TV last night.
Or listened to radio?
And I had to clean up the Micah Parsons story yesterday.
God almighty.
It actually was easy because it took care of my sportscast last night. I just let Micah talk on his podcast to clarify things. And, okay, now we're moving on.
If you've got a half a brain, you understand what he said. I don't get it. And I heard another thing today. I was getting ready to do my fan deal, and they have a national update. And the lady that did it, woman, she was all over Micah Parsons.
Can you break it down to the people what happened?
Okay. Here's what happened on Sunday.
Right.
Because I heard something about Micah did a drive-by. And so I got the transcript of his interview, and I read the whole thing, and I said, okay, there's nothing here. I don't need this. And then the next day, it's like this whole thing exploded, and I'm going, well, am I stupid? Like, I read it. Nothing stood out to me. And then I saw it printed out again, and I go, that's what everybody got excited about?
So you have it.
I got it.
There you go.
All right, very good.
He was asked about what he tells people about what would you tell people if they think that Mike McCarthy won't be coaching here next year? Okay. That's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. But all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But guys, I kind of feel bad for this guy like Zach Martin and guys who might be here on their last show on their way out, who I wanted to hold a trophy for. You want to win games and do great things for those types of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for. So basically he was saying, if people need explanation, McCarthy's been here 5 years. Zach Martin's been here 11 years. 11? Is that right? 12?
2014.
So 11.
Yeah.
And he hasn't won anything. And if we play like this, he's never going to win anything the rest of his career.
And there's a finality to a playing career.
Right. Coaching career, you can go coach again, right? But for him, this is it. And for other guys, DeMarcus Lawrence, that have been here, sweat equity, right? And they're going to have nothing to show for it. So he said,
And when
he's
talking about literal sweat equity.
Yes, yes.
know?
And so it was like
not saying that Mike McCarthy didn't putting in the hours, but I don't think he's probably.
that's not what he meant.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But everybody wanted to interpret where they can have something very negative. So it's all over SportsCenter, right? It's all over First
Take.
Junk in the Morning tape. Yeah.
Get up.
And then when one person does it, everybody's got to follow suit. They can't think for themselves. They can't say, no, that idiot's wrong, right?
Chris,
And-
are we paying attention to this rant?
And so now everybody piles on to the point now this morning, Jerry's got to explain what Micah Parsons was saying, which he did very well, by the way, and basically pointed out he didn't mean any harm to Mike. He just felt...
Well, they had to have meetings yesterday about it.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Did they?
yeah.
For real?
Well, Mike said he sat down and talked to him.
And then Jerry this morning said.
And then
he met
Jerry
with
said, I
everybody.
talked to everybody involved.
So wait, if it's no big deal, then why are they going around talking to everybody?
Because everybody was talking about it across the country.
So then they understand.
And if one person plays it, now the next person's got to
So
play.
then Micah
Then
has to
Bill's
go and
gotta
explain
play it.
himself, or did?
No, he did on his podcast.
Well, I just mean in regards to you talking about Jerry had a meeting on it, Mike had a meeting on it. Did they have a
When we
meeting
say
with
a
Micah?
meeting, we say a meeting, they talked about it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And what
So-
McCarthy said at his press conference
I got you.
yesterday, that I mean, when that narrative gets thrown out there, then you want to make sure we're okay,
No,
right?
I thought they actually literally had a meeting about it.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, no big deal.
And we don't know what happened behind the
Well,
scenes for
yeah.
sure, but
I'm just.
they did acknowledge that they talked about it.
I'm sure
and-
Micah's in there like,
Right.
what are we doing here, guys?
Right, and on Micah's podcast, that's basically what he's saying, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. He went off on all those that were because there were some criticizing him, or how dare him talk about the coach when he's been out for 6 weeks or whatever, which is just nonsense.
Just there's enough to talk about in the game, right?
Well, no, there's the tours.
yeah. Right.
Still
Silly.
getting on my nerves.
Silly me.
They're in my way
Right.
somewhere.
Silly me. And it's just maddening. And I remember, and this was a long time ago, Ed Werder said, the reason we hate covering the Cowboys is the reason we get to cover the Cowboys. Because
Makes
we got to
sense.
clean up all this
Right.
crap. But because of that, we get notoriety
Right.
covering the team.
Yeah.
Right? Just amazing.
I mean, to me, if I were to just land on this earth, not knowing anything, and I saw two teams clearly who aren't doing well at all with 3 wins. One of them happens to be in New York City, right? One of the biggest cities in the world. And then you've got this.
And they only got 2.
They don't have 3?
The
No,
Giants.
you're talking about the Jets.
Oh, the Jets.
I'm talking about the Jets.
So together they got 5.
Yeah, because you're talking about, we were waiting on this season to come, not just this year, but even last year. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the guy that's going to take this team, and they're going to be the best team the New York Jets ever had. Okay, well, that didn't work out. So now we had an injury at wide receiver. Now we're bringing in the number one free agent wide receiver in the NFL.
And
And he hadn't done
they're
jack.
still losing.
He hadn't done jack.
And the big proponent of this whole thing on ESPN was Rex Ryan.
Right. That's true.
Who's still butthurt that they didn't hire him as the defensive coordinator. Right. Goes back to what you were saying
it was
about
all
people.
about everybody wants to rewrite history.
It's the envy.
It's the envy. Everybody wants to rewrite history. So now here you are. You've got the Cowboys. Yes, this is a big story, the fact that we haven't won a game at home and how badly we played. But the story of the year was that the New York Jets were going to be in the AFC Championship game. Mm-hmm. And especially after they got the wide receiver. Devontae Adams. So you got Devontae Adams, and it has gotten worse since he's gotten there. So I'm just waiting on right now. Forget the alien coming down and landing on Earth. We know how silly that is. I'm just waiting right now for someone to say that the New York Giants have been a failure ever since they brought
the Jets.
The Jets a failure ever since they brought this whole scenario up as this is going to be the best thing to happen in the NFL in quite some since Joe freaking Namath.
And then the subhead is Dak Prescott's having surgery tomorrow and he's out for the season.
Right.
And who knows what that surgery is going to do for his career.
That's true.
Right?
You don't know how he's going to come back from that.
So, Jerry, right at the end of the segment, was asked about.
Yeah, because I wasn't listening to the segment, but I was following some tweets about it.
They
and
were burying the lead.
The reporters were tweeting that about various things that were in the interview, and I'm like, oh, I don't even have to tune into the interview. I'll just keep track of it here, and what the reporters would tell me what's important. And then I went away and did something else, and then I come back and I see a headline that Dak is having surgery. I went, oh, I guess that was
the last.
And so I went back and looked, and sure enough, it was like the last thing on.
Last question said that.
Oh, by the way, before we let you go, how's Dak?
Yeah, yes, he is having surgery.
At this point, and you know, no disrespect to the media, but there are times when you get this concerted effort to a particular goal, and right now, I think the goal is somebody's going to see who's going to piss off Jerry the most. Somebody's going to do it. It's going to happen. I mean, more than what's happening. Right now, it seems like everybody's getting their shots in. Like, this is the time, you know, because he's so optimistic here, so optimistic there. And that's boring. That's boring. They want some action. Somebody's going to give them some action, and they're going to get it back. They're going to get some action back.
No one wants to look, and I went back and looked at it again just to remind myself, the possession on 1st and goal, at the 6 when they had to kick the field goal, the crappy blocking on all 3 plays. But the story is the damn sun.
We need a tent. We need a tent on our windows. That's what we need. That's all you got to do. If it's a big deal, just tent the damn thing.
They miss blocks on all 3 plays.
Yeah.
Which is why the pass to CD was uncatchable, because it was down at his feet.
It was
behind him and at his feet.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect.
There was nothing to see because the ball was way down here anyway, you know.
So here's
that was because Rush wound up on his back.
It's just, here's what happened. On that play, Ferguson misses the block on 93.
Milton Williams out of Crowley High School.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm.
So he's the one that has the pressure on Coop. And he's the one that he had to throw the ball when he did, okay? And when he threw it, not only, and I'm not trying to throw Ferguson under the bus, but he cut back in. And it's like, I don't know if it also messed up CD's view of where the pass was coming, but he had to throw it because the block that was missed, 93, was bearing down and hit him. And when Cooper said after the game they asked him about the sun, and he goes, well, I don't know, I was on the ground. And he was right.
That's a fun answer.
Right? He was right. So, okay, it's incomplete. You still have 3rd and goal at the 3, right? And on the next play, I'm going to get my notes here. The very next play, They're going to hand the ball to Rico, right? He gets hit at the 9-yard, no, to Zeke. He gets hit at the 9-yard line, makes a great spin move, right? Because they missed the block up front.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a phenomenal job to get to like the 5-yard line. Is a 2-yard loss. Oh, it was Dottle. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Zeke was the play, the first and goal before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they missed the block again. And it's like he could have scored a touchdown.
Going back to the previous play, the C.D. Lamb pass, did Ferguson have a chance to catch that ball?
He wasn't supposed to. I think he wasn't supposed to be there. That's why he pulled his hands back.
Mm-hmm.
But then he also
seemed like after he pulled his hands back, that he was upset that maybe I shouldn't have pulled my hands.
Yeah, because you saw where his hands went after that.
Yeah,
on top of his head.
Right.
Like,
because I could have caught that.
I could have caught that.
Right. So I really thought the pass was going to him. So Coop was definitely going to C.D. Lamb. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's where the play was intended.
Of course.
He was open.
Okay.
And then
Dowdle comes back.
And he's got to complain about the sun.
Okay.
Right? And now we got another controversy.
So who starts complaining about the sun first? Where did this come from? The sun thing.
When the stadium was built.
You're not supposed to have one end zone in the West.
At East-West Field, which is common, not common, but there are a bunch of college football fields that are East-West fields. Yeah, high school fields. And I think Jerry may have said it. I didn't hear the interview this morning. I did see a tweet about it, that Jerry wants to give a feel of it as an outside stadium, and that's one of the reasons why he wants to have the sun illuminate the stadium.
Well, I could read all that to you too, but that
is it just that simple? Can we just tint the damn thing? I mean, can't you just put something over the? Is it that hard to do? It's windows, it's glass.
Well, what if you were playing outside and it's snowing? Mm-hmm. Does Green Bay play better in the snow than everybody else?
They do.
They do?
Yeah.
You think?
Well,
I'd love to see their.
At home.
I'd love to see their record playing in the snow. The snow doesn't help anybody.
I think they would be more accustomed to it.
But they don't practice in it. They practice indoors.
But if they play there,
okay. Did the rain help you in New York?
No.
Did it help?
It didn't rain much.
But it rains there.
Yeah.
Where was the
weather
last
was
game?
definitely bad.
Last game we played, it was the Cowboys played. It rained. The rain doesn't help. Put a roof up. Pittsburgh, right? Mm-hmm. It rained.
And we won.
Does the rain help the Steelers? No. The elements are the elements.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's take Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo loves playing in the snow, and they use that to their advantage.
I don't know how.
They use it to their advantage.
They got mutters on their feet.
The fans get louder.
Oh yeah,
rowdier.
Right. Yeah, okay.
They break more tables. Come on. I mean, it is true that Buffalo plays better in the snow.
Just look at Miami's record at Buffalo.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean,
So does Miami
play? It can be an advantage.
Miami play better in the humidity in Miami?
Yes, they do.
No, they do not.
Yes, they do.
Well, it's not helping them.
It doesn't help us.
That was just like the argument for Thanksgiving Day games that it was unfair because the Cowboys got to play at home at Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Well, when the Cowboys were good, they won on Thanksgiving. When they were bad, they got their ass beat.
They not only won on Thanksgiving, but they'd always win the next game after Thanksgiving because they had more rest too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
But that changed when the team got bad.
And it was 1-15 didn't help either day.
I was there.
All right, and I'm intrigued by what Mickey just said about Dak Prescott's surgery.
Yes.
And so we're going
Let's
to talk about
bury the
that when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel? Attend the best tailgate party in Texas? Tour the Star and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Back to Mick Shots.
Stay connected with the Dallas Cowboys on your connected TV. Catch up on all Cowboys content like player interviews, weekly TV shows, podcasts, docuseries like Deep Blue, and much more. Download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV.
All right, we continue with Mick Shots, and Mickey, bring us up to speed on this Dak Prescott surgery scheduled for tomorrow in New York.
Jerry Jones, in his segment on the radio, said that he has decided that he will have the surgery to repair the avulsion of his hamstring, which means that the tendon attaching the hamstring to the bone up by your hip or pelvic, whatever, is partially torn, detached, and we'll have surgery on Wednesday, and he is out for the season. What you hope for, he's back by July. I mean, that sounds serious, doesn't it?
It does.
Didn't that
It had to be serious when you're throwing a pass.
And it hurt?
And it hurt. I mean, you can't even stop it from... You can't even stop your face from showing it. You know,
it's amazing that he completed the pass before that.
I think it was a
diving catch by Brooks, right?
But it was a changeup.
Yeah,
it was a changeup because the guy was expecting a dart. He went for it. Because of the injury, Dak took some off. I mean, because he had nothing left, and so the DB goes flying over too soon, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it looked like. But Brooks maintained and made a great catch, by the way.
So
the most exciting 7-yard pass I think I've seen in a while.
I mean, the question is, how does this affect your career going forward?
Yeah.
They repair it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when you get repairs, they're never the same.
And you're repairing something, first of all, very unique and it seems to be in a very vulnerable area.
Now, didn't Tyron Smith have a similar thing when he missed the 21, 22 season? Mm-hmm. He had an avulsion of the knee. And it was something about the hamstring or whatever, or the calf muscle. Mm-hmm. That I'm just off the top of my head. Those things, I mean, they could linger.
And it would, and not just that, it would limit you, even if probably fully healed.
Right.
You'll still probably never have the same movement, the same extension that you would have otherwise. And yeah, that's scary. As a quarterback, if that hurt while you're throwing it, it's like every time you throw from here on, whether it's healed or not, I would be worried about it happening again.
And it's his right leg.
Yeah.
So that's your
what you
push-off
use.
leg,
Yeah,
right?
man. That's what you use.
You got to have that pivot there.
All right, on the Tyron Smith.
Yes.
He suffered an avulsion fracture of the knee, meaning the hamstring tendon that sits at the back of the knee pulled off the bone, and he needed surgery. And that would happen in late August. And
was it 2022?
Yes.
So that it happened at the Ford Center when
Right.
they were practicing indoors.
That's when Tyron Smith became the left tackle for this team after not taking any snaps at left tackle in the offseason his rookie year.
Right. So
Tyron's obviously he's playing again, but you'd have to ask him what kind of limitations was he left with after.
Yeah. Did it affect him?
Yeah, after coming back.
Because his 2023 season wasn't Tyron Smith, and if you watch
it's
him,
been affecting him. Seems like you could argue that it's been
now.
affecting him ever since.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So now he doesn't have to throw a pass.
Yeah.
That knee has nothing to do with his accuracy. Knowing where the guy is, or maybe it would limit him. Though I'm sure it probably has in some of the moves that he would make to make him a better tackle.
So in case anybody's wondering, Cooper Rush is the starting quarterback for the Cowboys.
Okay.
Monday night against Houston. Trey Lance will be the backup, and they're signing Will Greer to the practice squad.
Okay.
Who was with, I think, Philadelphia, and they had just released him. So they bring in somebody familiar with what goes on around here, familiar with the offense. I think he was with Philadelphia. I don't know if Bill can.
Yes, he
check
was.
That. He was.
Yes,
so
and he was,
obviously
he
Kellen
was released
Moore
last
brought him in knowing that he knew his offense. So he'll be here as the third guy.
Who was the third guy the other night?
Nobody.
Did we see? For some reason,
They only had two quarterbacks.
Only two?
For the Cowboys or Philadelphia?
Cowboys.
Yeah, they just had the two.
I thought I heard.
Yeah,
Pickett's
they
name.
had to bring in a third guy, and
I thought I heard Pickett's name called.
that was on the other team.
No, that was
he was a
Philadelphia.
backup for them.
Oh, he's for them.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett's the backup for them.
So they're going to still do what they did in that game. They're going to prepare a package for Trey Lance.
And let's talk about that a little bit, because there's some people that said who say they're 3-6.
So throw in the towel.
And so go with Trey Lance, and especially because Cooper Rush did not have the same kind of performance he had 2 years ago when he filled in for Dak. And so that led to the talk out there that, just make Trey Lance the starter. And
Cooper hadn't beat Philly yet.
I've got my own opinion on
right. He hadn't beat Philly yet. I mean, because when the one game he lost was Philadelphia, right?
Yep, that's right. But I have my own thoughts on this, but I'll throw it out to you. Aside from, just why? What would you tell those who think that they should make Trey Lance the starter right now?
Because I think they should go up to Zach Martin, go up to DeMarcus Lawrence, go up to the veterans on this team and say, we don't care about the rest of this season. We're going to do this to see if he's our quarterback of the future.
I'll throw something else out there. The fact that this team plays 3 games in 11 days is not the situation you want to throw Trey Lance into. With a Monday night game against Houston, then a short week, Washington, and then the shortest of weeks, the Giants. You got 3 games in 11 days. You need the most experienced guy out there for that. And who knows? And as you alluded to, there can be packages for Trey Lance to get into these games.
That's what I would do.
That's a lot to throw at a guy. And the whole talk of, okay, the season's lost, whatever. Well, actually, if you do the math on it.
Okay.
No, but seriously.
No, you're
you
right.
got 3 games in 11 days, and those guys in that locker room, they're trying to salvage. And whether it's the players, whether it's the coaches.
First of all, I'm speaking as a fan.
Yeah,
not
I know.
as a player.
Oh, I
So
know.
go ahead.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking to the fan. There's still, even if they go 0-3 in this stretch, there's still plenty of time to find out about Trey Lance because you got 5 games left after that. And you are now preparing him with a full week of preparation for each of those 5 games. I'm just saying, worst case scenario, you lose the 3, you're 3-9, then it's Trey Lance the rest of the way.
You would actually have 10 days to get him ready.
For the first of those.
I would certainly use this time to work him in. I would. And if the better he does, the more he gets the next time, the next game. And I'd be a little bit more generous
what they did
with his play. Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
I mean, they brought him in those 2 plays.
The thing
but you want to, if it's not effective, then.
And it was running.
But I want to look forward to making those plays successful, and then see if we can go from there. Maybe next quarter, next half, next game, next 2 games, give him more and more time.
And then what if he plays well?
And
that's what I mean. If he plays well, I'm going to give him more time.
No, and then what?
I just want to see what he can do. I still want, if I bring him here, I want to see what he can do.
You're going to sign him next year?
Let him show it. I wouldn't know about that, but I still would want him to show some type of a promise.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Of course, you want him
to show promise.
But everybody else is going to see it too.
That's fine. I don't care.
Well,
what they
I mean,
see.
I know.
Yeah, I don't care what they see.
No,
But then,
I mean, you're not.
You might get into a bidding war.
Well, if that's the case, then there's also.
I can't hide it.
Hey, along those lines, there's also the draft.
Right.
And so you're making here's the deal with Trey Lance right now. He's the same age as most of those guys that were first round picks this year are. He's just he's in the 4th year in the league, and yet he is the same age. He's 24 years old, just like several of those other guys.
Probably younger than Bo Nix.
And he has less experience.
He probably is.
He has less experience on the field. I think he is younger than Bo Nix. He has less experience than any of those guys. I mean, from going back to college, a little bit with the 49ers, and so you treat him like he is your first-round draft pick this year, but you just have 1 year to see.
I want to see him do well. I'm going to put him in a position to do well so that we can see what we have. If he does well, I'm going to reward him with more playing time, the better he does. I certainly don't want to keep hiding him. I don't want to keep him over there on the bench, especially in this situation when basically the season's over. When I say the season's over, that doesn't mean you stop playing. That means you start assessing other guys that you have who deserve to play that are not starters. And I would put him in that same category.
So there was, I quit taking notes. It was over. It was the 4th quarter. He threw a slant pass, and he zinged it.
Yeah.
And I was going, okay, that's what keeps you in.
That's right. It's like that golf game.
Right?
You got
You
that
hit
one
that
good
one shot. It's like,
I'll come back.
can I do that
I won't
again?
throw away my clubs today.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and the interception, Tolbert's not even looking. I don't know where he was going. But, yeah, I think you have put a package, and that's what Mike said yesterday. He pointed out that the reason they took him out after the 2 plays was they were in 3rd and long, and they hadn't really given him something on that.
Yeah, games like this, you can break a young man like that.
Yeah.
That's not what you
Put him
want.
in over his head.
Yeah, man. You don't want him trying to
remember,
salvage a drive.
Those were his first snaps since week 2 of 2022. First NFL real game snaps.
Game. I mean, he had preseason, but
right.
real game.
So, yeah, I understood putting him there. And it wasn't like they thought he was going to save the day.
No.
It was, okay, let's let him get some work.
No doubt.
But you go back to...
And he deserves that.
And you know what? Jerry pointed out, and this I'm sure got overlooked by everybody. He said when Rush fumbled that shotgun snap and he dove, that he hurt his neck.
Yeah, that Milton Williams of Crowley got.
Yeah, that he I don't know if it was a stinger or what, but I don't know if that hurt his ability to move around or look around or whatever. But that just wasn't
delicate on this team. Jeez.
That just was. By the way,
we have the most delicate team, a flower.
Have you gone to a high school game? Lately?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Like every other play, somebody's getting helped off the field.
That what?
They get helped off the field every other play. Somebody's down.
Well, in high school, you're like, okay, cool, but these are pros, man.
Yeah, I know.
God, these grown-ass men. Man, what is happening, dude? Jeez.
All right, we continue with more Mick shots in a moment.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
Cowboys Nation, Amanda Foster has been named your 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan for her dedication to the team and spicing up the game. Vote for Amanda to be named the ultimate NFL Fan of the Year at NFL.com/Fan of the Year.
So, Mickey, you gave up on the game the other day. You quit taking notes in the fourth quarter?
I didn't do my play-by-play any longer.
So what are you going to give up
No.
now for the next 3 games in 11 days?
I have things to do afterwards, and I started writing.
Okay, so you're back on the bandwagon.
It was 34-6.
Well, they're 3-6 right now. Are you going to prepare like you normally would for this Monday night game against Houston?
I don't throw in the towel.
Damn right, Spags. That's what I'm talking about.
I wrote about it on Friday, and that ain't me.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm pretty stubborn. If I was the Pittsburgh Penguins last night, I'd have still been playing hard.
Did you hear what happened last night?
No.
In the hockey game?
No.
The Stars, first period of their game at Pittsburgh, they scored 6 goals.
Damn.
They scored as much in one period as the Cowboys did on Sunday. And
it's like playing
then they
against
tacked
the
on
Saints. It's like playing against the Saints.
Then they tacked on the extra point and won the game 7-1.
Wow, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
I'll guarantee you everybody had that story written before deadline.
I was the first to tweet it.
Jeez.
Which is funny because I was doing something and then I said, I'll go upstairs and watch the football game and turn on the Stars game. Watch both. I get up there and it's 6-1. I go, well, no need to watch this.
So you gave up on that game too.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you got to, bro.
Penguins
so
how about
coming back?
So the Dolphins are 3-6.
Right.
And the Cowboys are 3-6. But there's hope for the Dolphins coming out of the game last night that they're going to be able to salvage something.
How's that?
Maybe because they have their starting quarterback out there.
Mm-hmm.
They need Deron Bland back on the field. I just don't know if he can practice 2 days and go play. I think from a little bit that this Jonathan Mingo can help. Do you see the size of this guy? I finally saw him out there working out. Mm-hmm. Man, he's huge. and he's got long arms.
Yeah.
Well, get him out there. The only reason he didn't play the first game was he practiced one day. Basically, by the time he got here, he missed the practice the first day, and they didn't want to overdo it the second day because he was doing his physical. I think it took a couple days for some reason. But, get him out there.
It's tough being in that position that you're talking about, that wide receiver, even Bland, trying to get them out there. Anytime that I was in position to better myself on a team, that team was a hell of a team. That I was trying to vie for a position on a winning team. Mm-hmm. Being in this situation, I've never been in that situation to where I'm Mingo and I'm like, I'm going to come in and show them that I'm better than Tolbert or I'm better than Brooks or whoever. And I've never been in that position. Usually when I've been in that position, that team was already good before I got there. To be in the position to where I'm just going to be excited to get an opportunity to show what I can do.
You weren't the savior?
Thank God. I was not the savior. But you have to be excited as
right.
Ringo or, even Bland. Be ready and excited to come back and show what you can do. Because at this point, that's all you have. This team is not going anywhere this year. You can either fight and be excited about opportunities on this team or having other teams see you and see what you're doing for this team.
Well, I will say this about Mingo. This is an important week of practice for him because you have the 3 games in 11 days. Okay, yeah. He needs to show what he can do this week. Because I've thought all along after the trade last week that this is more about the next 2 years than it is the last half of this season. But the opportunity is there for him.
The opportunity, man.
The opportunity is there. And if he can show something out on the practice field starting tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and then because you're basically putting in a game plan at this rate with backup quarterbacks, you're putting in game plans that are going to carry forward to the next week and the next week too, and you want to be a part of it.
You do.
With the other wide receivers, it's hard enough to get on the same page with Cooper Rush because Dak was taking all the snaps.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
He might get 5 a week, 4 maybe with the first team. The rest of it, he's running the scout team.
If I'm Mingo, I hope he has had enough time to assess his competition because those wide receivers are his competition. When I picked to come to the Cowboys, when I say pick, I was undrafted, but there were 3 teams after me, not just one. So when you look at those 3 teams, you say, okay, well, how do I match up? How can I fit in with Buffalo? Nope, don't fit in there. Don't want to go there. How can I fit in with the Saints? No, they weren't winning at the time. I can fit in with the Cowboys. Not just that they're winning, not just that I'm from there, it's because we had DB problems at the time. We couldn't find a defensive back to save our lives. So Michael Downs must have been thinking the same thing. He went there knowing that was his best opportunity. Forget how good the team is. It was his best opportunity working against that group of DBs. He knew he had a chance. When I saw those DBs in the playoffs, giving it up to the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken, I'm better than Aaron Mitchell. I'm better than Steve Wilson. I can make that team. The Giants, I chose the Giants because you got LT. You have a great front 7, but you're not getting turnovers. I saw the playoffs the year before. Flipper Anderson's beating Mark Collins for a walk-off touchdown, right? That knocked him out of the playoffs. I can make that team because I'm better than most of those defensive backs they have. So Mingo.
There was a Ringo.
Ringo plays for the Eagles. Wingo plays for the Texas Longhorns.
There you go.
Mingo plays
Mingo,
here.
Thank you so much.
Oh, he played for the Beatles.
Oh, yeah, Ringo Starr.
Not the Eagles.
Can I finish my point? I'm out of breath here. But no.
Keely Ringo plays for the Eagles.
He has to see this. If I'm him, I'm looking at this core of receivers. Nobody's looking back when the ball's thrown. Complaints. Nobody's getting open. I'm going to say, I'm going to remedy that. I can do better than that. he should be excited about this opportunity to show that he's better than what you got out there.
And one guy's jumping from the ball when he doesn't need to jump.
All kind of stuff. Those things he should be observing right now and saying, okay, I saw them make these mistakes. I'm not making those same mistakes.
You know, one thing I saw in the game, and I think it's going to become something, when Turpin returned that kickoff 8 yards deep, that's the plan. Because they think that
That's
he's
the best offense.
that good, that's going to help our off. We got to gamble on that.
No, he's making a difference.
If we lose 5 yards or 10 yards, so be it. But he's got the opportunity to be at midfield, and you saw it in the game. He's got unbelievable vision, and he doesn't rush it. It's like he kind of
baits him,
assesses, and then he goes, and so that's part of their offense now. You can say what you want as a wide receiver, but that's invaluable. The problem is you don't want to be returning kickoffs.
Yeah, it's definitely the field position that he can start us out very well.
Do you want him having more than 8 snaps on offense?
Oh,
yes.
Yes, I want to see his speed.
Which is what he got against the Eagles.
No, you want
8
more
snaps.
than that.
Yeah.
And like you said, we don't want him having too many kickoff returns. So
Right?
we want him in there. We want him in there on offense.
That's my point.
Right.
Kickoff returns means something bad's happening.
Hey, he's getting more kickoff returns than he is. If he's only getting 8 offensive snaps, he's getting more kickoff returns than he is.
Well, they scored. They scored 6 times, right? 4 touchdowns,
plus 1 more kickoff,
2 field goals, and then one
opening
for
kickoff,
either the opening of the half or the game. So yeah.
So you can plan on 7 kickoffs a game,
and nobody's going to punt him the ball.
If I'm Coach McCarthy, all I have left right now for this season is my reputation, and my reputation needs to be that this team is going to make fewer mistakes than anybody else. They're going to have as much discipline as they can have. I don't care how young you are. I don't care who you are. We're not making mistakes. We're not going to beat ourselves. Start right there.
That means fake punts, too.
Yes. That means making the right calls to put your team in the best position to win, regardless of who's playing and who you are playing. You still got to go out there and play, man. You can't just go out there like, oh, here we go. We're just going to be frustrated for another 6-7 weeks. No, man, we got to go out here and say, oh, wow.
I think you were trying to do that in this game against the Eagles. That's why it was so conservative.
And that's fine. We just got to do that better. We got to do that.
You got to catch the snap from center.
You got to make sure in the second half you come out strong. Third quarter.
That's probably it's frustrating. One of the most frustrating things, or probably the most frustrating thing for McCarthy, is that he puts in this conservative game plan, and still coughing up the football.
So they're minus 10 right now.
And the whole reason for the conservative game plan was to not cough up the football and give them a 17-yard field to work with.
They're minus 10. Only 2 teams are worse in turnover differential. Tennessee's minus 11 and Vegas is minus 14.
How are they doing this year?
Yeah, I don't think they're
what are the Commanders doing?
2 or 3 wins.
What I mean, in regards to turnovers, what are the Commanders?
Yeah, you got the whole list there?
Yeah, I do.
They had actually, going into last week's game, the Cowboys had more interceptions on defense than Dan Quinn's team did.
And see, I was assuming that he would. He took that with him.
They're plus 6.
That's because their quarterback's taking care of the football.
They've only had 5 lost fumbles and
how many picks?
6 interceptions.
No,
he's thrown 6 takeaways.
No, he's thrown 6 interceptions.
Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it says giveaways 6.
Wait.
Which are you looking for? Takeaways or giveaways?
Washington. Where are they?
I want takeaways.
So they've thrown 4 interceptions, and with 6 fumbles, so they've 10. No, that's takeaways. Giveaways. He's only thrown 2 interceptions, and 2 fumbles. So they've only given up the football 4 times all season.
Okay.
Washington.
And they've gotten 10.
And they're plus 6 on their ratio.
And the Cowboys.
But and Dak threw 8 interceptions. Cowboys going into last week's game had thrown 9. Now they're at 10 interceptions, and Washington's at 2 interceptions. Their offense. So that's a huge difference right there.
Well, minus 10.
I thought maybe that he took all of his takeaways with him.
Jaden Daniels is doing the same thing his rookie season with Washington that Dak Prescott did his rookie season with Dallas, and when he only had 4 interceptions the entire season.
Not hurting ourselves.
That's right. All right, that does it for a Tuesday edition of Mick Shots. And
God knows what's next.
Shout at you again tomorrow.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!